my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, as yes, we continue to talk sport. You're going to have to forgive me this morning, but it's been a crazy weekend. And of course, lest we forget, just a small matter of a Grand Slam playing out in history being made. The final tennis Grand Slam of the year went down at Flushing Meadows this weekend in both men's and women's finals. It was not the defending champions tasting glory, but fortune does favor the brave. And we saw some bravery from our US Open champions. He had a chat about the US Open finals. It's A1 Paddle Tournament Director Luke Potter, and he can play a little. UCT ladies tennis player Hannah Levy, she can play a lot. Guys, so good to have you here. What a crazy weekend of sport on all fronts. The tennis delivered. A bit frustrating that it was happening in like the opposite time zone to us, but I can see by your eyes you guys were glued, and we are here for that. Let's talk about Coco Gauff. First major opportunity to win something like this, and she smashed it out the park. You could see what it meant to her, but try and, Hannah, put that into perspective. What do you think it meant to her?
I think coming from losing first round Wimbledon, going and winning a 500 title, then a 1,000 title, the haters were hating, and she came and proved everyone wrong. It's a huge achievement.
And it wasn't like she just was given it. She had to beat essentially now the best in the world. I think she's gone back up to number one. She had to earn that right. She had to hold her nerve. She got tested. This is what champions are made of, Luke.
Listen, she got tested. I mean, she got completely smashed in the first set. Hit off the court is the word I choose to use. She kept the composure. She came back, and I think this theory of making one more ball crept in. She ran herself into a coma at some stages, and she literally fought her way through to a victory. She had the entire crowd behind her, a whole nation. Absolutely insane.
I'm a little bit sad that we didn't have an All-American final, because I was loving the US connection. I was loving the sold-out stands. I was loving just that vibe, that gees that they borrowed from us for just a moment. That next ball, that next step. There is a lesson to be learned there for all young tennis players. And we were joking off air about the margins being so small when you're at that level. Is the mental click the last element? And it'll come to bear in the men's game. But for Coco, this mental strength, and she's taken time off in the past, she's focused on that mental health. Do you think that is the difference in the player, or is it just her time?
No, I think your mental game is everything. And time, obviously, she's 19. You know, time is not on her side. She has not got the experience that all these older players have got. And I think that just goes to show that her mental game is something else.
And she's probably got a team of people, and I would imagine big sports are spending money on teams of people now around their players. No Carlos Alcaraz. Before we get on to the GOAT, and I'm going to call him the GOAT now, and anyone can come forward and argue with me as much as you want, but I'm going to call Novak Djokovic the GOAT. And I see no arguments coming here for now, at least maybe off air. What happened to Carlos Alcaraz?
His form got broken down. Medvedev just targeted the form, literally found a kink. No one knew was there. I think when we spoke in the week, everyone was focused on this massive final. You've always got to get through the next first hurdle, and that just literally never happened. Medvedev, silent assassin, went through the motions and got it done in the end. And, I mean, it was an incredible match if you watched it. I mean, he really just out-hit him.
Yeah, the nuances of that. And you're talking about a player who's been through those 5-set monster semi-finals. He's tasted that. He knows what that's like. And often the semis give us those challenges. The final is often a little bit emotionally loaded. You don't quite get both players being on form to that degree. In this final, I think Djokovic would have gone into that knowing that he had Medvedev's number. He's done it before on countless times. He must have felt, yes, this was his opportunity. But do you think a player at that level, because you must have put yourself in his mindset many times thinking what makes him so good in all departments, do you think a moment like that weighs on his mind? Do you think Novak Djokovic thinks about the records, thinks about the young players coming up, thinks about all those things that we love talking about so much? Or is he like zen-like and focused on the game? Because he's a human, after all.
Yeah. I think it's always a pressure. Like, knowing all these young players are coming up, it's always playing on his mind. I think, yeah, it's...
He just seems to handle it so well. And he's become one of the most liked people. Okay, maybe not last week on those courts in America, but in terms of the position he plays in world sport right now, he's a different beast.
Let's chat numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I like the
break
numbers.
it down for us, Luke.
36 Grand Slam finals. Okay. kids want to try and get into one.
Yeah.
He's played 36. All right, let's just start there. Out of those 36, he's won 24. All right, that is mind-blowing. So, I mean, the best thing that I can say to those people that, maybe don't like him is love him or hate him. He's come up in an era where there's been a Nadal, there's been a Federer, there's been all these youngsters coming up. I think the best way to define this is in the sort of semi-finals when he went, you can forget about it, we're done here, he's the GOAT.
Cheers. He is, yeah.
He literally is.
And for him, hopefully he believes that. And that's all that really matters in a player's journey, is what you believe about your own skill set and what you're meant to achieve. This has brought, I would imagine, generations on board when it comes to tennis. Just when we thought football was going to steal all of the young American fans, I have a feeling tennis might have got a few more. Hannah, thank you so much for being here so bright and early when you could have been sleeping or out playing tennis. Luke, thank you, my brother. This has been the most amazing tennis journey. Novak Djokovic, he is the GOAT. We're going to say it there. And Coco Gauff, I think she has made a very strong case to being a future GOAT in her own making. Absolutely brilliant performance in the year's final Grand Slam. 2 champions have been crowned.